Seconds. The Orbital Academy's artificial gravity hummed beneath Maya's boots as she walked through the crystalline corridors of Sector 7. Around her, cadets from 100 different worlds moved in carefully choreographed patterns, Velcorians with their translucent skin, Zephrons floating in their containment suits, and Crometh delegates moving on their 6 articulated limbs. But Maya stood out, not for her appearance but for the small red badge on her uniform sleeve, a skull superimposed over a blue-green planet, the mark of a Deathworlder. Earth, the forbidden world, the nightmare planet where evolution had gone mad. William Chen, her fellow cadet from the same cursed world, waited by the observation deck. His dark eyes scanned the crowd with the perpetual wariness that all humans carried, the burden of being born on a planet that tried to kill them every single day. "You're late," William said, his voice low. "Traffic," Maya replied, gesturing at the throng of aliens who instinctively parted around her. Fear was universal, it seemed. They had come to the Galactic Military Academy with hope that humanity could finally prove itself worthy of joining the Confederation. But 3 months in, that hope was wearing thin. The other species didn't see potential when they looked at humans. They saw monsters wearing cadet uniforms. "Gavros has been talking again," William muttered as they walked toward the combat simulation labs. "Says humans shouldn't be allowed near weapons. Says we're too unstable." Maya's jaw tightened. Gavros, a Thorian supremacist with scales like polished obsidian and a superiority complex that matched his 2.5-meter frame. He had 6 friends, all equally convinced that humans were a mistake the galaxy needed to correct. "Let him talk," Maya said. "Words don't." She stopped. Ahead, the corridor branched into a maintenance section, dimly lit, rarely monitored, and blocking their path stood Gavros and his pack. "Well, well," Gavros hissed, his translator rendering his words in perfect standard. "The Deathworld primitives, wandering where they don't belong." William's hand moved subtly to his side, a reflexive gesture. But there were no weapons here, Academy regulations. Just flesh, bone, and whatever evolutionary nightmares each species had developed. "We're going to class," Maya said calmly. "Move." A Velcorian named Six laughed, the sound like breaking glass. "You don't give orders here, human. Your kind shouldn't even be breathing our air." The 7 of them moved forward, a coordinated unit. They had done this before, Maya realized. Cornered weaker cadets, used their numbers to intimidate, perhaps even injured a few. The Academy had a culture of looking the other way when it came to training accidents. But they had never cornered a human before. "Last chance," William said quietly. His stance had shifted, subtle, almost imperceptible. Weight on the balls of his feet, shoulders loose, breathing controlled. Maya recognized it because she had assumed the same position. Combat ready. Walk away. Gavros lunged first. What happened next would be analyzed by the Academy's security AI for weeks. Frame by frame, the footage would be studied, dissected, and ultimately classified. Because in 3.7 seconds, 7 of the Academy's most aggressive cadets were on the ground, and 2 humans stood untouched. Gavros's clawed strike, capable of shearing through duralloy plating, met only air as Maya sidestepped with a speed that shouldn't have been possible for a species without cybernetic enhancement. Her counterstrike was precise, an open palm thrust to his thorax that used his own momentum against him. The Thorian's biology never evolved to handle kinetic force applied at that specific angle. He folded. William moved like water through the remaining 6. A Crometh tried to grapple him with 4 arms simultaneously, standard tactics for their species. But William dropped low, spun, and swept 3 of the creature's legs. Gravity did the rest. 6. The Velcorian attempted a neural disruptor touch, a natural ability that could paralyze most carbon-based life forms. Her translucent fingers grazed William's arm. He grunted, muscles spasming for a microsecond, then drove his elbow into her sensory cluster. She dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Two Zephrons tried to flank Maya, their gaseous forms shifting aggressively within their suits. They didn't understand that humans hunted in 3 dimensions on their death world, that they tracked movement through peripheral vision, evolved to spot camouflaged predators in dense jungles. She caught the first one's suit collar, used it as leverage to swing herself around, and kicked the second one's life support unit. Not hard enough to breach it, just hard enough to trigger the emergency shutdown. Both Zephrons collapsed, their suits pumping sedative gas to prevent panic. The remaining 2 attackers, another Thorian and a species Maya didn't recognize, froze. 7 seconds had passed since the fight began. 7 of their pack were down. The humans hadn't even broken a sweat. "Go," Maya said. Her voice was level, controlled. "Now." They ran. William leaned against the wall, breathing heavily, not from exertion, from the adrenaline crash. His hands trembled slightly. "That was stupid," he muttered. "We just made everything worse." Maya knew he was right. The academy would have to respond. 7 cadets injured, no matter who started it. And humans, with their terrifying reputation, would be the obvious scapegoats. But she also knew something else. "No," she said slowly, watching the security camera's red light blink in the corner. "We just changed the equation." The tribunal convened 18 hours later. Maya and William stood before the Academy Council, 5 of the Confederation's most respected military minds, each representing a different founding species. Above them, holographic evidence played in a loop. The ambush, the fight, the ending. "Cadets," Council Leader Vexnell spoke, her ancient voice crackling through her translation matrix. "Do you deny assaulting 7 fellow students?" "We deny assaulting anyone," Maya replied. "We defended ourselves." "With disproportionate force," Gavros's advocate interjected, a sharp-featured Talaxian lawyer who smelled of sulfur and entitlement. "My clients required medical intervention. One has a fractured carapace. Another's neural matrix was disrupted. These humans are clearly dangerous." "As they should be," a new voice interrupted. Everyone turned. Admiral Corvash, a legend of the Confederation fleet, stepped into the chamber. His 4 eyes blazed with something that might have been respect. "They're soldiers, or they will be if we're wise enough to train them properly." The council murmured. Vexnell leaned forward. "Admiral, you dare suggest?" "I suggest we stop pretending," Corvash said bluntly. "These 2 cadets were ambushed by 7 hostiles. They neutralized the threat in seconds with precise force and without causing permanent damage. That's not savagery, that's discipline." He gestured at the hologram. "Look at the footage. Really look. Every strike is measured, every movement calculated. They could have killed all 7 in the same amount of time, but they didn't." Silence filled the chamber. William spoke for the first time. "Our world taught us to survive," he said quietly. "Everything on Earth is trying to kill us. The weather, the animals, the bacteria. We evolved to fight back, not because we wanted to, but because extinction was the alternative." He met the council's eyes, each in turn. "You wanted us to prove we could be soldiers. We just did." Vexnell studied them for a long moment. Then she gestured and the hologram shifted. A dozen new files appeared, incident reports spanning the last year. Gavros's name appeared in half of them. Injuries, intimidation, abuse covered up as accidents. "Perhaps," the council leader said slowly, "it is not the Deathworlders who need to be evaluated." The charges were dropped. Gavros and his pack were expelled. And Maya and William were transferred to advanced combat training, a program previously reserved for the Confederation's elite warriors. As they left the tribunal, Maya felt eyes on them throughout the corridors. But the fear had changed. It was still there. Humans would always carry that burden. But now it was mixed with something else. "Respect. Think we'll ever fit in here?" William asked. Maya watched a group of cadets part around them. Then, for the first time, one of them nodded. A small gesture, an acknowledgement. Maybe, she said, or maybe we'll change what fitting in means. Behind them, the stars turned slowly beyond the Academy's viewports. Billions of worlds, countless species, and two humans who had just proven that the most dangerous predator isn't the one that strikes first. It's the one that survives.